Today we're going to talk about overcoming self-doubt. Do you suffer from self-doubt? Do you sometimes think you can't achieve the things you want to achieve and you're wondering how you can overcome this feeling of an inability of doing these things? Well, let's tune in and find out more. The first thing we have to realize about self-doubt is that self-doubt is poison. What I mean by that is that it's the number one thing that's going to hold you back, okay? Now, I'm going to be referring here a little bit about the law of attraction. Maybe you like the law of attraction, maybe you hate the law of attraction, but before you tune out, just tune in, okay? What the law of attraction says is what you think about and feel about and visualize repetitively, you bring about. So, simply put, what you think about, you bring about. Now, law of attraction gets a lot of bad press because it's kind of been overhyped. Let's just get back to the practicalities here. Many years ago, I went to a Roman Catholic priest who said something to me which was very profound. He said to me at the time, I was maybe 21, 22, 23 at that time, very young guy. And he said that you don't know what gifts you have. You don't know what's going to come in your future, what abilities you will have. And, that one of the things with life is that whatever you think you can do today, you'll find that tomorrow you can do more. Okay? And I found that to be true, that obviously I have more abilities and aptitudes today than I had years ago. But also certain opportunities came my way, which I never could have dreamed at that time. I think a big problem that a lot of people have in life is they look at their future and then they compare it to their past. They say things like, in the past, things were like this, therefore in the future, things will be like this. They said things like, in the past, I was unable to achieve certain things. And so they doubt themselves that they're going to be doing any better in the future. So they think, even if I do this in the future, it's going to be like it was in the past. But what you're doing here is you're just taking the past and presuming the future will be a replication of it. Now, sometimes this is the case, but a lot of the time, as we grow through life, we do develop new abilities and skills as we mature as human beings. And that's one thing we're not taking into occasion. The other thing I'd like to say, and I feel this comes more in line with the idea of the law of attraction, is that as you work towards something and you believe you can achieve that thing, you start attracting it to you, and circumstances do unfold. Now, I don't like getting too carried away with the law of attraction. This idea, you just wake up in the morning and everything's going to go your way. I don't 100% buy into that. But I do buy into the idea that as I work to something, things come my way. And the big challenge we have here is that it takes time for most of us. Most of us cannot manifest super quickly. Why we can't manifest super quickly, nobody really knows. But let's say that most of us going to take time. And what I mean that is, let's say you take a new career, you start tomorrow in a new career. Let's say, for example, you want to sell real estate, okay? You want to sell houses. Initially, you'll probably suck at selling houses. But after a while, you get better at it. And if you stick at it after a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, eventually you might, if you really put your heart and soul into it, and you really believe in it, you might become, like say, a masterful real estate agent. You might become somebody who's very successful. But to do that, to get there, you really have to keep working towards it. As time goes by, usually your first job in the new field sucks. Usually you suck at the job, but over time, you'll become better at those jobs. And over time, better opportunities will come your way. And over time, you will build up opportunities will just seem to come towards you in any aspect of life. So what I found to be my own experience is that if we keep working towards a certain direction, if we keep thinking about what we want to achieve, if we keep on working at it, if we keep on doing what I like to call mind feeders, like reading good books, watching good videos and so on, and if we don't give up, we'll eventually get there. And this is why doubt is poison. Doubt is poison because doubt says I cannot get there. Now, if we take the law of attraction very seriously, what the law of attraction is saying is that whatever I'm thinking about today, I'm projecting into my future. You see, my future today, my present today, is a reflection of inner states of being that I had maybe last week, last month, last year, 10 years, 20 years. So what I'm living today is a result of what I did in the past. What I'm living in the future is a result of what I'm thinking about and feeling about today. So when I doubt myself, what I'm projecting into the future is an inability to achieve. Now, let's take this very seriously. If we're taking it very seriously that human beings are co-creators with God, right? We've got a creative spark. If we take this very seriously, what it means is that we can create things. We can achieve things. But to achieve something, we have to have a clear vision of what we want to achieve. To achieve things, we have to have an undivided will. So there are the two things you need to achieve anything. You need to have the belief, the vision, and you need to have the power. The belief or vision is the imagination, and will is the driving force. Will on its own, driving force on its own, has no direction. Belief and vision on its own have nothing without the proactivity. So you have to have the proactivity of driving willpower into the physical realm, that you're putting yourself out there and doing activity, and no taking no for an answer, no self-doubt combined with a vision. If you do these two things for long enough, they will come together. You know this thing like coordinates coming together, okay, like they use for laser pointers and finding their targets for bombs and stuff. The two will come across together, and when they come together, you will be unstoppable. So how can you overcome self-doubt? Well, let's first of all say why. You must overcome self-doubt because you cannot achieve as long as you're in a state of doubt. If you want to achieve something, you have to have a clear vision of what you want to achieve, and you have to have the willpower. Doubt will poison the well because doubt is taking that creative power to achieve. So you still got the vision, but you haven't got the will because you don't believe you can do it. And if you don't believe you can do it, you're going to manifest, I don't believe I can do it. Another little caveat, I was watching a 1968 movie of Heidi. I remember this, but as a kid I used to watch this TV show called Heidi. It's very popular. I know it's a kitty thing and all that, but sometimes there's wisdom in these things. So I was watching the old movie version, and it has this girl called Clara who can't walk, and then she basically has a psychological problem that's stopping her from walking. Okay, so there's a problem with the wheelchair, and so she can't walk, and so she has no choice but to pull herself forward, and through a lot of struggle she climbs to a standing position and makes a few steps. And what I told was very metaphorical about that. You might say it's a kiddie movie, but there's some real truth here, but very metaphorical about this, was that in the book and in the movie it's clear and obvious Heidi didn't really have a physiological problem with her legs. She had a psychological problem with her legs. And so she, first of all, because of her mind had created a reality that she could not walk, and she believed she could not walk. And so you see her in the movie struggling so hard to get up because she's fighting her mind, because her mind for so many years has said, you cannot walk. And she's fighting that belief, I cannot walk. But out of sheer desperation and maybe inspiration too, she's been to the mountain and so on in the story, she pulls herself up and makes a few steps. And that's the beginning of her recovery. We're like that on every aspect of life. If you feel that you're a loser, if you feel that life hasn't been fair and things haven't gone your way, to some degree, but it's hard to believe or not, but to some degree your mind has created this reality, okay? And to overcome this inability to achieve, you will have to work hard to overcome it. And this is why I'm saying you must overcome doubt. It will poison the well. But also it's hard. So just like this girl Clara in the Heidi book, Heidi movie, she struggles hard to get up. It's very hard. But it's only hard because it's her mind that's put her in that position. Because your mind is so creative. Your mind has created the thought, I can't do it. And because the thought is so creative, it's created reality, you cannot do it. Okay, you cannot do it. But once you believe you can do it, you will do it. But to do it is going to be, for most people, most of the time, overcoming self-doubt is difficult. So no different than this girl forcing herself to stand up, because her mind has worked so hard to make her lie down, to make her not be able to walk. Now she, her conscious self, has to work so hard to reverse that, because her creativity created her lameness. Remember, this girl did not have a physiological problem, she had a psychological problem. I know some people have a physiological problem, it's different. But same thing, she has to work so hard to overcome that. So same thing with self-doubt. So first of all, you must overcome self-doubt. The second thing is how to overcome self-doubt. First of all, you have to get used to gritting your teeth. I remember a couple of years ago, I was watching this interview with one of Britain's top mathematicians. He'd recently solved, which is going back over 100 years. Anyway, he solved some really, really tough maths problem. And in this short interview, I thought it was very interesting. He was talking about, why people don't do well at maths and the perception of maths. And he said that one of the big problems, he reflected back on, there was a Matt Damon movie some years ago where this guy is the janitor and he's a super maths genius. I forget the name of the movie, but he's a super maths genius. And in the story, they find out the college is a super maths genius. And it's kind of about him, coming to terms with it and stuff. But it's in the way it's portrayed in the movie, he's just a super maths genius. And this real maths genius was saying, it's not like that. Top mathematicians struggle with maths. It's not easy. And then he went on to make a very interesting point. He said that the difference between a good mathematician and, say, a poor maths student is that the good mathematician is willing to deal with the discomfort of getting stuck. Think about that. It's not like the movies that you just like, here's the answer. No. The difference with a good mathematician and the ordinary person is a good mathematician is willing to just keep at it and at it and at it. And I saw that some years ago. I did a course on IT, and I saw that as well with computer programming stuff. Computer programming is not really all that hard, but it's a bit sticky. You have to be willing to stick it out, and you find out you made a stupid error in logic, basically. That's what caused all the problems with programming. It's your inability to think straight. So to be a good IT person, to be a good mathematician, to be a good scientist, you need to be somebody who can deal with not feeling great all the time, frustration and irritation, because we tend to want everything to be solved immediately. So same deal. So first of all, if you want to overcome self-doubt, you have to get used to being uncomfortable. Now, being uncomfortable is not much fun, but you have to get used to being uncomfortable. Another little caveat, I was watching an interview a couple of weeks ago with Ronaldo, and the interviewer was talking about sons. So Ronaldo's son is, also into football. He's a teenage boy, maybe 12 or something. And Ronaldo's saying, he has to see if he can stick out the discipline, including the ice baths. After training, you have to, jump in a bath of ice water. And, this is one of the aspects. If you want to be, say, a top athlete, they do things like jumping into ice water or into one of these sort of super cool chambers or something like that, okay? They have to deal with a lot of discomfort to be a champion. The difference between, say, a wealthy person, a person who's become rich, self-rich, not just born to rich, and the ordinary person is they're able to deal with the discomfort of putting off their desires for longer periods of time, so that instead of running out and spending all the money, they save the money, invest the money. The thing that makes a champion athlete, for example, is the ability to take that pleasure and put it to one side and focus on what needs to be done. So initially, if you got doubt on something, you will go through an uncomfortable stage of facing up to your doubt. And that is difficult and it is painful. And you have to become comfortable at feeling uncomfortable. And that's the first chance, gritting your teeth, getting on with it. The second thing with overcoming self-doubt is ultimately what clears self-doubt is self-confidence. But how are you going to get self-confidence as long as you get self-doubt? Well, the best thing I can say to you is that faith moves mountains. Faith is the belief that things are going to work out without seeing results. One of the biggest challenges with the law of attraction, and also then in the reality of, say, running a business or starting a career or having a relationship, taking up a sport, anything you want to achieve in life, you have to start with the belief, the faith in yourself that I know I can make this happen. You have to have the faith in yourself that when I take up that new sport, it's going to work. When I go to lose weight, it's going to happen. When I go to study that subject, I'm going to do well in that subject. When I take up that new career, it's going to be good. When we start this romance, it's going to work out. You have to begin by having the faith that you can do it. And the difficulty with faith is we want to see the result and then we'll have our faith. But it doesn't work like that. The way your mind works is I have to have the faith and then the mind will give me the result. That's how the law of attraction works. So the first thing is bearing feeling uncomfortable. The second thing is developing faith in what you want to achieve. That gets back to things like mind feed, where you're reading good books, watching good videos, writing a diary, reflecting upon yourself. You have to work at building yourself up slowly but surely, that you honestly, even though your results in your new career, your new romance, your new mental well-being, physical well-being program, whatever it is, are not great. And you have to believe to achieve. You have to believe you can achieve it even without results. Belief comes first, results come second. When you start developing that faith, which initially is hard, of course, and working to get more enthused about it, after a while, if you also combining that with proactivity, after a while, the results will start to come. So the biggest challenge is putting off that desire for instant gratification and accepting that initially your self-doubt is correct. Initially, you're not good at that, say maths. You're not good at physical training. You're not making progress with your weight loss. Your relationships ain't what you'd like them to be. You don't have as many friends as you like, and so on and so forth, whatever it is you want to achieve. But you have to start really buying into this concept that I can achieve. I am creative. I can have the relationship I want. I can have the job that I want. I can have this cool lifestyle. You have to begin believing it, even though it might take several years for it to unfold itself, because you're starting from zilch. You're actually starting from backwards of zilch, because you started all this negative programming. So number one, get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Number two is start to develop faith. How do you develop faith? By reading books and watching nice videos, mind feed. Start to get into the concept and believe it might happen. And then after a while, little successes will come. And then your confidence will start boosting. The final thing I'll say that I think helps self-doubt is, if you see other videos I have on this channel about things like the inner critic, learning to love yourself, and so on and so forth, we have to learn to accept our failings. We have to learn about ourselves, what makes me tick. We have to learn to reprogram ourselves with things like autosuggestion, positive mental mindset. So initially you use things like autosuggestion and mind feed to boost yourself. After a while, your mind becomes more and more positive. These are the things you have to do if you want to overcome doubt. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable as you put your willpower into action. Work towards developing faith, which basically means doing a lot of mind feed and self-reflection and so on. And you start to buy into it. And as well as that, working on yourself, learning to love yourself and accept yourself as you are. And with that, as you like yourself more and as you accept yourself more, you'll begin to need less external results. And you'll start to become stronger in yourself and more capable of gritting it out, of realizing you're not perfect and being okay with your failures. And also realizing that if I keep plugging away, I can have some kind of progress and keep working towards it. And the final thing, of course, is you put all this together, getting used to being uncomfortable, working on developing vision and faith in yourself, working on loving yourself, accepting yourself, and learning to believe in yourself, that you can take this journey on, believe you can achieve. And then if you do that for long enough, you'll start to get some successes. And then the successes, once the successes come, the confidence will come very easy. And that's the ultimate cure. The ultimate cure for self-doubt is confidence. But to get there, we have to work through these obstacles, okay? So this is how you overcome self-doubt. The first thing is to stop doubting that you can. You can achieve pretty much what you want to achieve within reason. And it might take time, and that's okay. But one thing is for sure, doubt has to go out the window. And it might be easy initially, it might take time, but work on overcoming doubt. And you will achieve it over time if you follow the steps that I've just noted in this video. Also check out other videos. I think if you watch some more videos in my channel, other channels as well, read books and so on, do some self-reflection, you'll start getting more into it. Somewhere along the way, you'll start thinking, you know something, I think this might actually work. That's the beginning of progress. Okay, I hope you liked this video. Please like and subscribe. I'll talk to you next time.